Threshers are one of the most polarizing enemies in Deepwoken. To an experienced player, they're reptilian cannon fodder, but to an inexperienced freshie, a Thresher might as well be Prime King Von, clutching his favorite Desert Eagle with a switch. Stomp enough Threshers out of reality, however, and you'll eventually run into the King Thresher, what I imagine you'd get if you fed a Thresher 10 kilograms of PEDs. While these Threshers are a staple of Deepwoken PvE, their background is largely unexplored, and today I'm here to change that. Today we'll be exploring the features and behavior of the Thresher, as well as evaluating how Threshers came to be. Before I begin, remember to subscribe and like the video. The channel is growing at an astounding rate, so thank you. Without further ado, let's dive straight into exploring the Thresher. Although the Thresher may seem like a bland enemy at first glance, it displays an alarming amount of biological features if you look with a finer lens. For starters, the Thresher is blatantly crocodilian in nature. Think crocodiles and alligators. The Thresher is capable of multiplying rapidly, infesting areas like an invasive species, and like crocodilians, it would make sense if they could asexually reproduce. However, the striking difference between the Thresher and a standard crocodilian at first glance is the Thresher's clear lack of eyes. Despite the Thresher being inherently blind, it can still sense you if you're close enough like any standard enemy. Thus, unless the Thresher can use the Force like Luke Skywalker, it's pretty safe to say that they have a crazy good sense of smell. Now, I'm a believer in the theory that the mobs of Deepwoken were created with evolution in mind. This is plausible when it comes to the Thresher, but the question stands, why would crocodilians evolve to lose their eyes? I theorized in a previous video that the Shaco was a transfusion of DNA from multiple different animals. Now, I'm not suggesting that Threshers are the animal kingdom's version of Gogeta, but I do believe that the process by which evolution occurred between both animals is the same. By this, I mean that I believe that the mass flooding of the world before the events of the game forced mass evolution across the entire animal kingdom of Deepwoken. This mass flood is called the Tides, and was a massive catastrophe that drowned the old world after the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm itself is an event I'll be covering in the next video, hint hint. But to sum it up, the world of Deepwoken was in a golden age. However, the amount of prosperity spawning overuse of the song almost woke up the sleeping, drowned gods. Thus, the Tides arose to punish humanity and end the golden age that came close to waking the gods. I've gotten ahead of myself. Let's bring this back to the Thresher. So, the entire world drowned, and we know that these tides are connected deeply to the depths. We don't know what the world looked like before the majority of land was sunk, but it's pretty clear that it would be a drastic shift for Deepwoken wildlife, particularly for an animal like the Thresher. While crocodilians are semi-aquatic, the main issue for the Threshers would be the mass introduction of monsters from the depths. Suddenly, the Threshers were drastically lowered in the pecking order, and they had to adapt. My theory is that after the tides drowned the world, Threshers were forced to adapt to the now vastly reduced rates of prey, as well as the various new predators arising from the depths. First, their scales and spines, changing to prioritize survivability above all else. You can see the durability of the Thresher scales in the talent named, well, Thresher Scales. It allows you to regenerate armor at campfires. Following the scales, the Thresher drastically changed their hunting style. To compensate for the increased danger on the remaining land masses in the world, their eyes were sacrificed in return for the ability to burrow deep underground. Hence, the Threshers became increasingly stealth-oriented, adapting to reliably secure prey in a post-tides world. I believe that this is why the Threshers lack eyes. Threshers also adapted pack mentality to a degree. You can see them in groups of 4 to 5 during sea events, and in packs of 2 in places like the depths. I've neglected to mention the King Thresher thus far because it's, well, literally just a larger, more powerful Thresher. It's the leader of the packs Threshers operate in. There's not much more to say there. Did you think that the video would end without a massive reveal? Of course not. That's the channel standard, baby. Listen to this. There's a variant of the Thresher that goes generally unexplained, the Nightmare Thresher. I haven't really seen a definitive name for it, so let's just call it the Nightmare Thresher for simplicity. This Thresher is abruptly different to every form of Thresher that we've seen before, covered in emerald green eyes and black fog. Now, if you're really on the ball, you'll understand what I'm getting at, but let me make it clear. Oh yeah. Bet you weren't expecting that. The Nightmare Thresher looks like the Lord Regent's true form. My personal belief is that it's the extended exposure to the depths, leaking into the real world, that mutates life forms into these creatures with emerald green eyes. The Lord Regent's throne is made of coral from the depths. The nightmare threshes are only found in void zones, etc. Or the Lord Regent is the Thresher god. I'll let you decide which is more likely. And that's it for me today. Thank you for tuning into this video. Usually I have something quite meaningful to say in these outros, but I think I'm running out of inspirational things to say. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this entry in the informal Deepwoken biology series on this channel. At this rate, I might have to make it formal. Be safe, stay well, and I'll see you tomorrow.